Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos I try to update you on the important real life situations in my country Ukraine, and of course I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts from our history, our culture, or whatever interests you. And today I have decided I want to speak a little bit more about prisoners of war, because there are thousands of Ukrainian soldiers who were captured by Russians, and also thousands and tens of thousands of Russians who were captured by Ukrainians. And this is an extremely difficult question to talk about, but I was inspired, not actually inspired, but an event that took place today made me think this is a topic I have not touched in my vlogs and it is worth our attention. I was speaking to one woman. I don't know her personally. She is a medical assistant in one of the hospitals. And just talking this small talks, she said that her son is now a prisoner of war. He had a nice job abroad. But then when war started, he decided to come back to Ukraine and to fight against Russian orcs. And he was captured on Azovstal, and now she knows that he is alive, but he is kept in really bad conditions, and every day she gathers these tiny pieces of news, tiny possibilities for contact. All of that is very important, but at the same time this is a very traumatic experience. And what I want to stress here is that even if you live in a semi-dangerous zone, you are very much influenced by war, and it only seems like everything people are living a little bit better version of life. Yesterday we saw what happened in Vinnytsia, and today in my city Lutsk, a lady doing her everyday job and living a totally different life inside. So from what I know, among some of my friends and acquaintances, there are people whose relatives are prisoners of war, not only from Azovstal but from other battalions, and the fate of many of them are unknown. And what bothers me even more, that many of them are not registered, so officially they cannot be found in the list of prisoners of war, and as a result no international organizations like Red Cross, Caritas, I don't like very much. It's not that I like these organizations very much, but still they are working on all of these processes. But even these people, they are not available because they do not exist in these documents, in this list, and many of them are taken deep inside Russia, like Siberia or elsewhere, in abandoned places where we know nothing about them. How are they kept? What are they doing there? Whether they are building something or just kept in really bad conditions, nothing is known. Many people look very attentively when their relatives are missing and they don't know whether they are dead, alive, captured, just don't have a mobile or whatever. They are very attentive to various video footages from the wars. And it's a very difficult task for hundreds of Ukrainians, for thousands of Ukrainians, to look at these videos and to try to analyze the dead bodies, the people who were captured, the people who were tortured, short videos and other things. Another problem is that not all of these prisoners are will survive, not only because of bad conditions, and of course Russians, they don't follow the rules, the international rules of war. And today we know that a British fighter died in Russian, being kept by Russians as a war prisoner due to bad conditions, perhaps lack of access of medical help and other things. And as far as I know, Russian ambassador was asked to explain the situation, but what's the need to ask Russians to explain anything? They will not explain, they will simply deny. But hundreds of people die because of lack of medical help, lack of access to the things they need because of tortures. And also many people can get executed based on their personal history, starting from patriotic tattoos that they can have, or finishing with their specialization. As far as I know, people who can work with specific kinds of weapons or who are snipers, very often they get killed quickly when they are caught because they are dangerous specialists, and nobody wants them to, I don't know, somehow leave their imprisonment and return back to the armed forces to continue fighting against Russia, for example. And that's why many people try to hide their real specialization to survive. Another danger is that if a person that is a prisoner of war is connected to someone who is influential, popular, known in Ukraine, this is also a problem for that person, because he or she can get killed just to demonstrate the cruelty, evil of the Russian regime. So in general, I think this is a very dramatic part of this war, a very difficult psychologically part of this war, because not many people know what is going on with their relatives. And sometimes it is easier to fight, to face danger, than just to be kept somewhere in a cellar in really bad conditions, or somewhere in the depths of Orkland, as you say it. I like it, Orkland, Putinstan, Mongolia, post-Mongolian society. There are lots of names that you give in comments to Russia, and I love them, and I think they describe the country really good. What about Russian prisoners of war? I don't know much. And I know there are ideas like they can be involved in the rebuilding of Ukraine, just like, I don't know, collecting the destroyed buildings, maybe building something. But I honestly don't like this idea. I don't want them on my territory. I don't want to see them doing something in the streets of our cities. Maybe it's not wise, but this is how I feel about that right now emotionally. So this is not a very optimistic topic, and I see that this war is going to continue. I actually do not see how can it end quickly, and there will be many people. And what is the problem? That very often in the news we read about like exchanges, 5 people to 5 people, 10 people to 10 people, 15 people to 15 people. But when you realize the numbers of people that were imprisoned by both sides, you realize that this 5, 10, this is nothing. And most tragically, many people are not on the lists. And this reminds me once again of these dark periods of Soviet Union, when there were lots of labor camps. And think about that. Nazis created labor camps for the Jews, and this is the crime that is known and spoken about. This is one of the greatest tragedies of humanity. And Russians built labor camps for Russians, or Soviets for Soviets. And this is something that is not discussed at all, and many Russians still consider like, well, this is a part of our reality. You won't find many Russian films about this concentration camps for Russians, labor camps. You won't find many books about that. You won't find many excursions to the places where you speak about the pain, the tragedy of these people. It was just like a harsh reality you have to accept. And it is very difficult for me to imagine that similar things like deportation, like labor camps, like executions, like the denial of Ukraine, its language and identity are possible after like 75, 80 years. And this gloomy Soviet reality dominates in Russia. So those of you who equate Soviet Union to Russia are actually totally correct. This is at least the way I see it. So once again, thank you for watching and leaving your comments and providing your advice, because they are really important, and sometimes they show a different angle of the situation in the world and the attitudes in the world. Thank you for buying me coffees, for becoming my patrons. I am really honored to have such people in my channel. If you like these videos, like them and help me grow the channel so that more and more people will receive updates on the situation of Ukraine. You know, I'm subjective, but I never manipulate and I always speak the way I think. And I'm really grateful for you being with me. Slava Ukraini!